think we're going to be heading into the next match very shortly here. It's going to be a great matchup to watch here. Now, keep in mind that 9 lost to Exposed Secrets. They did. So Exposed Secrets going to move forward here. Agilitas will be eliminated as well. So it's going to be i5 versus Exposed Secrets in the next round. But we also have TSM versus SK Gaming.
Yeah, TSM versus SK Gaming, that's going to be a big one as well, because TSM, like we said, has not had a great run in the last couple of weeks. They've kind of been relying on the fact that they are TSM and had such a great start to this, that they're still sat in second position in the SWC. However, SK Gaming, who did so well at the launch tournament, Dry Bear, and got very, very deep there, I think they came 4th overall at the launch tournament, are now starting to find ground and got themselves consistently now through to the semi-final. Last week, Dry Bear, they beat TSM. And this week, they're fighting to go through to the finals again. And TSM, I'm pretty sure they're going to be out to play.
Oh, they absolutely are. I mean, that's what you're looking for, right? You want to know that they can actually kind of contribute the way that you expect them to. So SK, they definitely have something to prove here. TSM certainly do as well. TSM haven't been placing the last few weeks. I mean, they haven't been at the top. They've been losing a round of 8. They've been kind of scattered about. And, everyone's hoping, to see if they can do.
Right now.
Are you sinking?
I am quite
you're
heavy.
Not very. Are you? You're not very.
I'm not very buoyant. I'm not.
Because you just went deeper. Like you were at the surface level, and now there's just this is ridiculous.
Down, deeper.
How are you breathing?
I don't know.
I'm impressed.
This is a snorkel. This actually.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh, snorkel.
A snorkel microphone, a snorkel phone. I get it.
It's
awesome.
It's the new and improved version.
I've never heard of a snorkel phone before, but that's awesome.
I've just invented it, and it seems to be working. I can talk at the same time as breathe.
Wow, amazing. But
I know.
Aphrodite and Giannis banned out here by TSM. Across the way, SK Gaming has Kumbhakarn and Osiris off the clock, and first pick for TSM is going to be Thor.
Thor picked up for TSM straight away in the jungle. Not a surprise to see that one as well. And the Kumbhakarn ban from SK Gaming, so that's a lot of respect as well from them going out on that one, Driver.
Yeah, I mean, Kumbhakarn can't make it in. He's so strong, so much control, and you're really going to get a lot from Thor as well. So there's so many characters to ban out now. You really got to give credit to the balance teams and the design teams for Smite, allowing so many strong characters to make it through, especially characters that really didn't get the respect they deserve, characters like Janus. Now, SK's going to hover on Jungkook and Loki here.
Wow.
Loki I can see, but Jungkook, if you're going to pick him, I don't feel like you have to pick him early, especially against TSM where they have no propensity to pick him up at all, especially with Ra, Scylla, Poseidon all still on the table, Ao Guang even making a comeback here. Jungkook, an interesting pick early, not necessarily that he's a bad pick. I mean, he definitely is a strong pick, but first pick for their team. Now, Loki, the character that's kind of been in and out, right? We saw yesterday with Snipe, Shing did a phenomenal job with Loki, just shutting down every aspect of every game he played him in. Great pickup there. Across the way, they're going to just, hey, you're going to pick Jungkook? Fine. We'll take Rahabwa.
Yeah, Rahabwa, decent composition for themselves. They both can rotate as well, so one of them can go mid. It just depends what the matchup they're going to be against as well in the solo lane, so they can mix that one up as well, Drybear, to whichever one's more comfortable for themselves. And obviously, Jungkook, not the longest ranges in the game on his skill, so Habwa can kind of abuse that to an extent if he gets the opportunity to. And finally, SK Gaming going to be hovering over Artemis. Not a surprise to see the Hunter finally being picked up before the banning phase one more time.
What? There's someone we're forgetting. It's
Scylla?
Silly?
Scylla? Scylla didn't have a great game last game. I mean, she did go in the solo lane though on Comfrey, but she didn't really shine as much as she has done in the past. And the games yesterday in North America, Scylla didn't really come out on top. And I don't think that's because of the changes, because they only changed the route. They didn't change anything else really. I mean, there was a 0.5 duration.
Well, the Crush can't
do.
Yeah, the Crush can't do point blank anymore, and that's part of what Scylla did. She would just blink and do the Sikkim, do the Crush at point blank, and then ult right away. Now that 0.5 seconds is going to make it so you can't just immediately pop the Crush at your feet instantaneously. They're going to ban out Artemis after picking out Apollo on SK. TSM is going to be banning out Freya, actually, just not wanting that to kind of go away from them. So 3 players being picked so far, 3 gods being picked so far for both teams here. The banning phase is complete. Now first pick goes to SK Gaming. They're hovering on Athena.
Oh, they've actually got to lock in Athena as well, because it's only honestly, there's only really Geb, Athena, and Kumbhakarn are the top 3 supports right now, especially from the Guardian. sort of standpoint. Bacchus seems to have fallen off, even though he did get a small buff to his chug with the mana cost reductions. We've still not seen the rise of Bacchus come back to play again, and it appears it's Athena's time to start to shine now, especially with Kumbhakara being such a focus ban. I think she's so good. She's a great all-rounder, and when she gets those taunts off, we've seen them from the likes of Shadow Q, we've seen them from the likes of Half Devil. When you get four-man taunts, it causes big issues.
It really does. Across the way, though, one of my favorite supports, Hercules, is being hovered on here. Now, Hercules can be played in so many different ways. He can jungle, he can solo, he can play support, but it looks like they're going to actually opt for Geb instead as they're hovering that one through. Neith is being hovered on as well. I love the Neith pick against Apollo. I think Neith is a fantastic counter to Apollo in the lane. Also has that ultimate potential. Now, with characters like Thor and Habwa on the loose, a Neith ultimate added in the mix just makes such a big difference for them. Habwa in the solo lane can make a big difference as well. But one thing to think about is that, when you're running characters like Thor, Ra, Habwa, against Loki, actually Loki does a fantastic job against Habwa as well. The burst damage there is going to be insane. They're going to go for Nemesis as their last pick here, and it's great, right? Because Ra and Habwa are going to have a really hard time getting away from that slow.
Yeah, they are. The only problem I see from SK's team composition here is there's not much of a team fight, honestly, Driver. Loki's going to want to position himself very safely and wait for the right opportunity to gank. Nemesis, the same sort of role as well. Not going to want to dive straight in there unless you can do the initial engage and allow Loki to clean up for it. I guess that's what they're going to go for. But slightly on the squishy side, SK Gaming right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's some synergy there and there's some, scattered about. And honestly, the hardest part is that if Junkwei does not use his full dump truck load on everybody, if he misses damage, there's not a whole lot you can do to recover from that. He doesn't have any follow-up after his big ultimate and damage output from Exorcism and, of course, the Exposed Evil. Of course, Nemesis has good zone control, can get in there deep, get the good slows, get some good dashing mechanics, and also a lot of great single target damage once that chin size is complete. Across the way, TSM has a lot of damage themselves and good sustain as well. This is a very interesting matchup to see. SK Gaming is 6th seed going in today, and TSM is getting ready to kind of move up and try and knock out first from Cloud9, but it's a long way to go. We're going to cut to a brief break, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be TSM versus SK Gaming in the semifinal round. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. TSM versus SK Gaming. The semifinals are underway, and let's see who makes it to the grand finals today. Will TSM redeem themselves, or will SK Gaming get a second week in a row final appearance? We'll find out shortly here. Let's go ahead and introduce our players. Who's playing what and where they're going for what team. The bottom side of the map, we've got Lobster and Habwa. Smek playing Neith, Cubo Fred in the jungle with Thor, Trickstank in support with Geb, and Game Hunter in the solo lane with Ra.
And on the other side of the map, we're going to see SK Gaming, defending champions from last week. They're going to be played by Badger as Athena in the support role, Reels, MVP for EU on Apollo, Zeros in the jungle as Nemesis, Maniac as Junkwei in the solo lane, and finally, Captain Twig on Loki mid lane.
Right. I mean, it's against Habwa, right? So this is going to be the most delicate, fickle matchup ever known. Like, literally, whoever jump starts the fight is most likely going to win it. I mean, it's Loki, Habwa mid. The problem is Loki doesn't have as much push. So looking at Captain Twig's start here, he did rush tier 2 Hand of the Gods. You have to do this if you're going to go for a physical mid, because the shorter cooldown on the tier 2 is much better than the tier 1, and you're not going to be able to keep up with the push of Habwa, even though Habwa's push isn't as great early on. He needs something. So what he's going to do is hog 2 the wave and then trying to get some harassment on Lobster. He has successfully done that, and now he has to buy time before the next hog comes up.
Yeah, he actually used the hog on the left camp, though, just to secure that one at the start. Got it solo. They gave him the solo experience to let him rush level 2 a bit quicker. But done a good job so far pushing in the middle lane. Right-hand side, though, we do see Cuva Fred and Game Hunter in that lane. Going to be facing off against Maniac and Zeros, who's doing a very early rotation already. This invade! This invade!
There it goes, taken away, gonna go to Captain Twig in the mid lane. Now he's got move speed and attack speed to take a Habwa. Are they both gonna come in here? No, Apollo's gonna go back over to the left side. So SK Gaming coming out strong today.
Yeah, they really are.
Look for the damage here. Captain Twig is pretty far ahead now.
Yeah, Captain Twig just going to look to farm consistently. I think that's all he's going to do, and then rotate as much as possible once he's got down this middle lane. Trying to trade with Lobster early on, it's not going to go in his favor, that's for sure. But both of them, like you said, got to watch their positioning all the way through this game.
Oh, they really do. I mean, this is going to be really delicate. Honestly, looking at the mid lane matchup as well, any gank could set this thing off. This is a ticking time bomb sitting here. Mid lane team harassment going between the Captain Twig and Lobster exchanging evenly. Solo lane's being pushed back to the towers. Of course, it looks like Cubo Fred has already left the lane alone, and now it's going to see if Game Hunter can defend it.
Yeah, Kiva Fred actually rotating towards the middle lane, trying to keep his eyes open for a possible rotation from Twig, see if he can find something. But Twig already in his own jungle, making sure that Kiva Fred wasn't the red buff there, just keeping his eyes open as he should see Kiva Fred on the edge here. I'm not sure, though. The wall might be covering him. Will he get caught?
I mean, get caught is the question here. Do we forced out? Left side, take some harassment there. Field wall on the ground. Right side, we see the Game Hunter and Maniac going head to head here, pretty even. The Blessing to come out here pretty shortly. There goes looking for the stun. She forces the stun run and hits the hair. Game Hunter being very prominent here as they force him out of the lane. 2 minutes into the match, you can see the gold is slightly in favor of SK.
Yeah, just ever so slightly. That comes down to the speed buff being taken away. You'll show, especially once this red buff gets dropped by zeros as well, that's where most of it's coming from at the moment. But Captain Twig now hit level 5 ahead of Lobster in that mid lane. His left-hand side, we can see Thor going up. He's going to look for something, but already the disengage coming out as Badger gets hit with the double tap, and the aggression is onto him. Badger can actually drop here.
Nice
Big
there,
Mez coming out, followed by a ton, and look at this. Zeros on the backside, looking to make something happen.
There's a slow looking for Cubo Fred. He's got nowhere to teleport to just yet. Should be coming off corner line very shortly. There goes the teleport. Reels is jumping in. Smek is dropping low. Zeros wants the kill here. Cubo drops low. Great shockwave his zone. And they're going to have to back off. A very back and forth. Yeah, that's right.
It's really balanced. Mid camps due up any second, and both teams very, very low. So these mid camps could just be contested by the mid laners. But we can see Zeros rotating in as his tricks tank to this mid lane right now for these mid harpies. And it looks like this left hand one's going to go over to SK Gaming. They're in control of this one. Right hand side, it also looks like SK Gaming with the first ones there as well.
Neck is backpedaling here. Going to shoot down these minions. Take that out on left side. As far as the gauntlet goes, it's almost done on reels, but he actually wasn't able to finish it on his way back on the first time. Smek is looking like he's pretty close to finishing it off. He just needs about 700 more gold or so, and she's able to finish that one out. Mid lane Captain Twig going to be at 3K across the way. Lobster is going to be saying at 27, 28K now, so 200 gold lead for him.
Kiva Fred rotating mid lane. Got to look for Captain Twig. Nice spout coming out from Lobster there. A little bit of poke, but immediate use of the vanish forces the disengage as well. So Captain Twig going to be fine walking back to base. And that's what you need to use with the vanish overall, isn't it, Dryby? Just make sure you reposition yourself and get out of trouble.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can vanish and stand still and back, and they can't see you until you stop being invisible. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And it looks like Lobster to try and force him away. I don't know if this is a lazy back or a bait. I can't tell with Captain Twig. Looks like it might be. Oh, looks like he's just actually legitimately backing. I mean, he could have been a bait back. Lobster was a little bit wary, of course. As soon as he tries to commit to it, all of a sudden you have an assassin on your back and damage output. But here's the problem, right? As soon as Loki commits to Lobster, he can crushing wave out and get the distance. And that's the problem that he's facing here. He puts the wet paper on the ground, knock up in the air with the water spout. So Loki really has to get all his punches in that one instant because Hobble can control the zone very easily.
Yeah, control it very easy indeed. So the jungle buffs come back up once again. Speed taken by Nemesis, red taken by Thor, and now the blue buffs have been started by the respective teams. As we see what's going to happen now. Well, Game Hunt is level 7 right at the moment. Top gold on his team, while Jean Quay Maniac is a little bit behind him in terms of gold right now, and experience though is still level. Left-hand side, and aggression again from SK Gaming. Steal away the blue buff.
ETH ultimate coming out on top of Badger, but there's no one there to capitalize. Loki's in the area, though. Thor's in the area as well. Looks like Loki's going to find him. Berserker Barrage, Tectonic Rift as well on top. Berserk's taking a lot of harassment here, but not very much to take his HP down. Good ultimate from Thor. Crushing Wave coming out. Captain Twig in trouble as well. On the ground he goes. There goes the hit. One more shot will do it. There goes Smek securing the kill. Thor comes right back down. And his team just abandoned him. Oh,
the timing from Captain Twig. He assassinated exactly the same time as the crushing wave went out, so he didn't get the damage off on it. Pulled him into a bad position, and even with the Athena ultimate, it's not going to save the day. Zer's going to rotate in again, but Smek's doing work here at the moment. He's been left alone, and can he get a few more attacks in to look for the cleanup? Well, the backflip's out, and the disengage is on once again, but first blood, TSM.
Well, it's amazing, right? Because a first place win today for SK would mean that they were just that much closer. They could secure 4th or 3rd next week if they're able to get a first place win today and go into the finals next week. I mean, they're definitely on that road, right, where they're able to pick up a lot of seeding points. And yet today they're still experimenting a lot. Nemesis is a character we don't see too much. Loki is certainly a character we haven't seen in mid for many, many moons. But they're going to experiment today to see how it works out. Seems to be doing okay. Captain Twig, unfortunately, like you mentioned, the timing there. And anyone who's ever played Loki against Hobwa has had that feeling, right, where you ult and then you carry with water and you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, please, please. And now I'm miles away and I've got nothing to get myself out of this bad position. Mid camps coming up once again. SK Gaming going to be taking left side as Twig starts that one off with his decoy right hand side. We can already see Cuba Fred in position for these ones spawning this time. As there's going to be a bit of contestation here as Cuba Fred is going to find Zeros and Maniac waiting.
Light lead for TSM right now. Right side Cuba's going to get some harassment off on Maniac as well as Zeros. 400 gold. in favor of TSM. We got 1,000 gold, or 1,000 experience in favor of SK, though, so they have that experience lead. I mean, for all intents and purposes, this game is relatively even. There's not a whole lot of major gains between the two of the teams. Look at the itemization, though. You can see that the badge actually went for Shoes of Focus and hasn't died or lost any major gold experience yet, so that seems to be working out pretty well for him.
Yeah, he's doing okay as we see some aggression again from Captain Twig in middle lane, trying to keep the poke onto Lobster. As it stands, though, I mean, this has been a relatively slow game so far. We're 7 minutes in the game, only one kill has happened. And I think this is because there's such burst-heavy gods on the map, Drybear, that nobody wants to give an inch, because if you do, you're going to lose a mile.
You have on the right side and going to the mid lane to defend it in the absence of Lobster. Captain Twig seems to be farming very effectively. He's gone Boots 2 into Morningstar 2. So instead of finishing the Boots, he's actually gone straight for the Morningstar. Maybe he just wants just enough movement speed to be able to keep up with people in the Vanish. And then after that, just going to go straight for possibly what looks like a Heartseeker, actually. Actually, it's going to be a Heartseeker, which is interesting, right? Yeah, because Devourer's Gauntlets is a little bit more expensive, but has that permanent stack here. So it's still surprising to see people going for the Heartseeker so often.
The reason for the Heartseeker, especially on Assassins, is just because you want the maximum damage, especially on someone like Loki. When you're all about burst, the extra little damage you'll get out of it, you won't get the lifesteal, but the extra damage will be very important for when you go for that Assassinate combination to try and get the maximum potential out of it wherever possible. But Thor, on the left-hand side, Fred looking for something. There's no ward to spot him out here, and I don't think SK Gaming know about this just yet.
He's priming to go for an ultimate here, but there's no windows just yet. Loki's going to go back to the back Harpies on the left side and take that out for some gold. They keep experience and farm going. He's at 4,800 gold, which is going to be the most farmed in the game right now. Captain Twig doing a very fantastic job at that. Right side, Ra is going to be hanging out up against Maniac. Game Hunter and Maniac going head-to-head here. Seems like it's relatively even. Game Hunter at 4,800, Maniac at 3,500, so a bit of a gold separation between there. Game Hunter is farming much more effectively than Maniac is in the solo lane. Back in the movement speed buff, we're going to see Zero is going back to pick that one up here. Now, honestly, with that first blood, TSM takes a slight lead here, but you know it doesn't seem like it's shaking SK at all.
Not at all, not at all. Not with what their game plan seems to be. They've been aggressive at the start. They stole away that early speed buff, and they set the pace for themselves of how they wanted to play this one out. Now, from my point of view, Fred's got a really tough game here because he wants to gank, but trying to find the places to gank is very difficult. Do you go for Captain Twig, who can just vanish or use the Assassinate to reposition himself, especially now that he's got the beads online? Or do you go for someone like Maniac on that Zhong Kui, who's going to use Recall Demons and just start dealing ridiculous amounts of damage to you? It's a tough call for Fred to try and find the positions for him. He's going up in mid, though.
Nothing to go for there. As he dashes back in, he felt him on top of him, though. Crushing wave on
dunk.
2, Thor dunk on 2, Berserker Barrage on 2.
The timing!
That was an amazing counteract there. Captain Twig throws out the decoy, but just cannot find it. What a beautiful coordinated play.
So the rotation from the jungler, and then we saw Athena coming in to try and support, did not pay off. Badger goes down as well. Now Captain Twig's in a bit of trouble here. Reels is there for support though, and Fred doing some good damage. Nice shield coming out from Trix Tank, just to make sure he doesn't absorb too much. Decoy gonna pull that minion camp, but it's not gonna be enough to secure it as the left camp goes over in favor of TSM.
I love this choice of itemization from Lobster. He's actually going to pick up a breastplate first here up against Loki. It's going to make him very ineffective. Great hammer, great wall. Damage coming out here. The Cataclysm as well. Captain Twig gets away. Nowhere to go. Cubo can't chase that one down, but forcing the ultimate was perfect there.
It has to use the Assassinate, and so far it looks like TSM have got control of this game now. They've started to pick up the pace and started to pick up the kills, taking the gold lead just over 1,000 now, and he's starting to pay dividends for him. And Smek is having a pretty good time being able to get off those World Weavers and get involved in these fights without having to leave lane. Unfortunately for Reels, he's not managed to get involved just yet. Not got a kill or an assist to his name.
Yeah, he doesn't have the ultimate. I mean, obviously he doesn't want to displace himself, and Neath can just contribute to the fights without actually leaving the lane, one of her main strengths. Now, obviously there are ups and downsides to both those ultimates, but Reels really haven't had a chance to kind of get up in the air and really consistently or go over and contribute to a fight in the mid lane. Hobble getting forced out here in the mid lane there, taking a lot of damage from the Captain Twig rotation. Trixtank is here as well to help with it. That Geb shield's gonna make a big difference.
Yeah, and Badger rotating as well. Trixtank doing his usual Trixtanky ways of rotating very, very often to the mid lane, looking for opportunities to poke and bonder wherever possible. But Trixtank has had a bit of a rough time as of late, Drybear, because the meta switched away from the warrior supports, and that's where he was probably the strongest support in EU for how strong his warrior play was on the likes of Sun Wukong. But now we've gone back to Guardians. He's found it a bit rougher, but going to Geb, looking for the aggression here, takes a bit of poke damage coming out, and Cuvo's going aggressive again, but immediate mez, and great shield from Trix, but Zyros is there.
Has to force him away, forcing the ultimate away. Honestly, the Nemesis ultimate was a little bit premature. They were trying to force away his ultimate, but they could have done that either way. At least now that Thor ultimate is down and on cooldown, they don't really have to worry about that space control from Cubo Fred across the way. Captain Twig's finished that finished Heartseeker and the boots too. Of course, he's just leaning on that massive amount of movement speed he's going to get from both items combined. He's sacrificing the penetration on the Warrior Top E for a finished Heartseeker to build the stacks up, but the two combined will give him enough movement speed to really be enough for one boot. So he just wants to move fast.
On mid lane, you're going to see the junglers group up with those mid laners looking to pressure each of them in. Right hand side though, Game Hunter is starting to do nice work to that tower dry bear, slowly chipping it down wave by wave against Maniac, and Maniac not having the easiest time here now.
No, he's really not. I mean, that's what happens when Junkway gets pushed back here. Now, Ra, notably probably one of the easier matchups for Junkway, although he would be able to kind of get a big burst there and force down. Any healer is going to have trouble. We're going to give trouble to characters like Junkway. Taunt coming out there. Nemesis need the ultimate though. Here comes the hit. Zero's forced away. No commitment.
Forces the disengage from both teams. Good knee ultimate from Smek coming out there. Helps Lobster, who's really cut out of position there, honestly, after that taunt. Captain Twig was too low to really continue, and so was Zero's. But look at that. Game Hunter rotates in, heals them back up, and now it's TSM in a better position than SK right now.
Goes the hit from Habwa. We'll put that one out and away. Dashing away is Tricks taking control of the mid camps here. Looks like Badger might want to harass us a bit. Now he's just looking to see if there's a window.
Yeah, SK Game's got it back here. Going to have to give up both these mid camps overall. As the right hand side though, Game Hunter does find Maniac trying to recall, but Game Hunter going to miss a bit of experience against his tower there, but pick up a little bit on that right hand mid Harpies camps at the moment. So it's 3-0. Gold is 1500 in favor of TSM. Experience is relatively even. It's only a 700 experience difference between these two teams. So it just comes down to farming and those kills really, Dry Bear, right now.
We're probably going to do the blue buff here. Assistance with Game Hunter with just the hammer. Damage ups on the ground for Habwa when he's ready to pick it up here. Back Harpies are there. Look at that optimization though. Zeros is just about to finish that chin size. Makes Nemesis that much stronger. It really kind of brings everything together for her because she has the ability to keep people close, but doesn't want to have the damage. Badger getting blocked there. Beautiful shot. Yeah,
Kuvo's really on form, and then Cataclysm actually doesn't connect with him though, does on Reels, and that's just going to be a disengage for now, but Cataclysm on cooldown for the time being as mid lane once again, Lobster and Captain Twig continue this crazy battle that's been very, very even, honestly, so far. No one's taken
watching Smek and Tricks tank do the blue buff with his mouth frothing, but unable to get it. But you're exactly right. I mean, it's been very back and forth. TSM has been farming more effectively, and certainly with 3 kills, it's more added to their pot. SK has been keeping up, though, and kind of paying attention to everything that TSM has been doing. Now, keep in mind, they also have a lot of potential with, Loki and Nemesis together. Once Nemesis finally finishes up that chin size, gets a good ultimate on someone, and Loki's there. You look at targets like Habwa, Thor, Ra, all very easily killed if they're caught out by that combination. I mean, Nemesis is going to steal away their stats and keep them slowed, and Loki's going to get right up in their business and make sure that they don't get away from that one. So definitely a lot of combo potential and damage output from SK, but when Zhangquei starts to rotate, is it really going to mean that much of a difference?
We'll see. I mean, as this game goes on, Zhang's going to be that front line that's going to try and do the disruption to allow Zeros on the Nemesis and Captain Twig on Loki to run around the gate, the whole of the fight, and try and find targets to pick on as Zhangui continues to deal damage. But there's aggression on the left-hand side as Trixan gets taunted out of the rollout. Trix is in trouble here. He didn't have the Cataclysm available. He'd only just used it on Badger earlier, which landed on Reels. Reels picks up the first kill for SK Gaming, and this is an opportunity for Gold Fury.
Is available. They're all grouping up here. Thor's available as well. He's going to go for the mid camps here. Does he have an ultimate available himself? He does. Captain Twig, blink. Oh! Missed the assassinate there.
Wow.
Just to the split-second blink from Cuvo, and now it looks like they're going to give up their chance for Gold Fury.
Or are they? Because Cuvo gets attacked again. Spout comes out from Lobster, and he wanted to continue the chase. Can't because of the taunt. As Captain Twig gets some nice damage off, but the wall's going to force him into Lobster. Lobster's going to go for the crushing wave. Does connect. Zeros is there as well. Going to look for the damage. Can't find the Spout onto Captain Twig. Here we see Reels rotating in. MVP last week. Can he do a rinse repeat? Good taunt coming out. Looking for one auto attack. Does find it. Very low is Reels. Smek going to look for the kill. Finds it.
Big pickup there. Reel's going to drop down. Great rotation. It's going to be a 1-for-1. Surprisingly enough, I mean, Reel's committed too hard, but so did Lobster. He got that real strong initiation, the crushing wave on top of the Loki. Captain Twig was able to escape in that fight, though, thanks to the help from Badger. And you saw Cubo. Cubo made a very smart play there, and it's really hard to make these kind of plays, especially when you're playing online or you haven't really had a lot of practice in Smite. He saw that Lobster needed help there, but he was at a sliver of health. So stepping forward meant that he was exposing himself. Here comes Game Hunter, Captain Twig together.
Good rotation. Game Hunter did a great rotation over to mid lane
Fury
to make sure
TSM.
Gold Fury. Yep, to make sure they got the Gold Fury. The whole Smite just started it, continued doing it. Nobody could really contest that one. So TSM come out on top in terms of that fight again because the gold lead is slowly stretching time and time again.
I mean, it is, and that's really what TSM is best at. And one of the reasons why we're surprised to see TSM not come up in the last few weeks, especially finishing in the round of 8, in the top business there, it's tough, right? Because you don't want to be in that 5 to 8 slot because 10 points is the lowest possible seeding points you can get, other than the 2 you get for just competing. But to the same token, you want to look at this as an opportunity to kind of come back and prove your stuff, right? Because TSM has a lot of seeding points from doing well in the start of the qualifying round. As long as they're in the top 4, it's all pretty much equal. So right now,
aggressive in mid, lots of damage onto Cuvo, forcing the hammer away as the ult was popped from zeros there as well. Wow, that was a lot.
Loki does damage.
Yeah, the burst from those two together. I mean, I can see why SK Gaming have put this one down, Drybear. It seems like that's going to be the combo they're going to look to do, just take someone out immediately. But Twig needs a little bit more damage to make that happen.
Well, Twig's going to start finishing off the Jotun's Wrath, and that's where the damage is going to come from. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what he needs, and once he has that, he's able to stick close. He does need a little assistance, though. I mean, Nemesis ultimate, some kind of rotation from Athena, a big taunt, something to keep them in place so they can stick close. And that's really, he wants those big targets like Cuvo or Lobster or even Smek if available. But from the second seeded team, they don't really have anything to lose here. Even if they go out this week, they don't really have any way of losing that second seed slot.
That's right. I mean, they're in a good position to still stay second this week, especially with these points they've picked up just by getting this far into the semi-finals. But this is the thing we were discussing, is that TSM have had a struggle the last couple of weeks. And the one thing that's really odd is normally TSM are known to be this, when they get a lead, it's very hard to take one back from them. They're so strong. Left-hand side aggression.
Doug,
big dunk.
Hammer, big stun there coming up. A great taunt for Badger right when he lands on top. Beautiful play, buys enough time for Reels to just walk away from that one. And Neath was not in range to be able to keep up, and she can't fly, so unfortunate for her, but she's not able to keep up with that one. The Neath also did buy enough time, but it seems like there's just not enough damage on either side to get those easy picks.
Totally agree, and Lobster's going to try and turn that one around, talking about damage, because he's got a lot.
He's coming.
Find a good spout. Can he do it? Wet papers on the ground. Good spout connects, but under the tower, nobody wants to take it up. Trix Tank was very late to this, but now Loki's here. Has he been spotted by the minions? Oh, the aggression out from the team. 4-man taunt all underneath the tower. The Cataclysm's important from Trix Tank, though, but on the backside, Reels has rotated in, and this fight could turn around, but at the moment, SK is scattered. Reels is trying to find the damage on Lobster, but the minions are blocking the way, and Game Hunter rotates in as well, and Maniac's in there with the Recall Demons, doing as much as he can to turn this one back around for SK.
Game Hunter's still in the area. There's a good slow. Looking for Reels. Damage about to go around. Needs a Celestial Beam of some kind. Gonna hit it there. Wow. No ultimate available. Had used it earlier, so has no control there. But when it turns out to be the end, it's a 1-for-4 exchange for TSM. This back tower is gonna be forced out very quickly as Apollo has to go home. There's no Gold Fury. Are they looking for the mid tower?
No. Where are they going?
Fire Giant? No, they can't. It's got to be mid tower.
The respawn. Oh, Loki's dead for another 5 seconds. Maniac's out for 30. Are they're going for it, Wow. This is brave.
Apollo has no ultimate, so we can't get over there fast. Brave. He may, and look at this. Real's so smart. Recognize that they're going to try and go for that. Comes over here to spot out. Athena's on the ground. Going to find it here. They're the only two, though. Going to force him to leash. Smart play by Reels and smart call by SK, thinking it's exactly what they were going for.
The only mistake that TSM made is they bit off more than they could chew. They should have taken down a tower instead. They got left tower. They could have taken out mid there, Drybear. Instead, they chose to go for the big play, the big all-in play of getting the Fire Giant. It didn't pay off for them. So it gives SK Gaming another little opportunity to continue staying in this game right now. But that fight did not go well for them at all. They were scattered for the whole time. And that was under their own tower as well there, Drybear.
I think that was the right call from TSM. Ra actually left behind a heal for the minions, the left side. The minions actually took out the tower. They were very confident in the minions' ability to kind of fight against an empty wave on a tower, take it out, and they got it. If the ward wasn't sitting on top of Fire Giant, SK actually had a ward sitting right there on top of the Fire Giant pit, then they would have, possibly gone for it. And it's that big risk reward, right? If they don't get it, it's they lose 500, 1,000 gold. But if they do get it, all of a sudden SK can't fight them, they can't face them, they can't control them, and they're gonna just go down and down and down. Whereas now they're kind of sitting. Look at that itemization, though. A little bit interesting here. Capsway decided to go for the Titan's Bane instead of Jotun's Wrath. He just wants pure penetration, and he wants it now.
Or actually saw the first rotations coming out from the solo lane, and Maniac and Game Hunter coming all the way over to that fight. And Game Hunter made a big impact on that, actually picked up a kill for himself and also got 3 assists. Meanwhile, Maniac only found a kill with his recall demons there, so gonna have to watch his positioning. Doesn't not as tank as he wants to be just yet. He's gone for the ethereal staff there at the moment and currently working on the magic focus to see whether that's going to build into. But Gold Fury back up right now as Captain Twig pushes out mid. Got to be careful of the rotation coming out from Cuba Fred. Instant use of the vanish to make sure he doesn't get caught out.
Maniac's across the map, though, and he can't get there very fast if he needs to. Captain takes some damage. Oh, there's the hammer. Teleporting over. Shockwave going to force them out. Obwa's still here, though, looking for that damage. Good shields from Zeros, trying to absorb some, but not able to get any, as, of course, that water spout, or that water cannon did miss. The Gold Fear is available, as you mentioned, Hindu. Not a whole lot of opportunity for either team to really take it here. SK still has an opportunity to steal it away with a hand 3 and a good taunt from Athena.
Yeah, TSM very confident right now. After that last fight under the tower that went so well for them, they're happy to fight him, and it looks like they're quite happy to try and contest this Gold Fury right now, even though Game Hunter is not with the party just yet. He will be over soon enough, but Game Hunter is sticking to the right, and TSM realizing it's not worth trying to do this right now. I'm just going to go back to farm.
Good taunt from Badger to break that bubble off of Geb, force him out of the fight. Now going to start the Gold Fury. They think they're going back here. They know Ra's across the map. This may be an opportunity for them, but Geb's going to come out here. Thor's up in the air. Look for the dunk. Cataclysm. 3-man dunk on Thor. Neath ultimate top of Badger, forcing him out.
TSM, get Gold Fury!
Fight. Damage up. TSM going to steal it away. Captain's got Lobster, but loses his life to Smek. Maniac gets Trick Stake with the damage from the dot there. Zero's on top of Smek. He's back away. Needs a good route to get them off his back here. Purification piece gets used. Reels is dropping low. Q-Fred wants the damage. Siripe is going to miss. Rail's gonna go down to Neath and Game Hunter combined with Smek. Come out with the damage here. Game Hunter can't get the damage. Each damage gets popped. Smek is out of the fight. Nowhere to go. It's a 2 versus 1. Can he get away? Badger might have a dash shortly, but he's gonna give up chase, and that's gonna be it.
So that was a 4-for-3 trade, I believe? No, 4-for-2. 4-for-2 trade, and the Gold Fury went to TSM in that. So when you look at the charts there, you can see there's a small dip in gold lead in favor of TSM. However, the Gold Fury still put them up overall. However, experience did cut a little bit due to that fighting overall, but TSM still in full control, and that fight didn't go too bad considering they got the Gold Fury after SK started it.
Well, consider there was a 4v5. Game Hunter was across the map. Right. They did not have him at all, so that was a legit 4v5. And honestly, with the Geb Cataclysm Thor ult combination, they put themselves up to a lot of AoE damage, and so they suffered a lot of that, right? That's really the main reason why they weren't able to secure that fight. They got the Gold Fury, which is what they wanted, but SK reacted in the perfect way to burst down the targets that were clustered up too much. Captain Twig get in there and taking out Lobster, and that's his main target. He wants that Hobwa to go away, but Smek was watching his back and took him out in response. So, you know, a lot of great play between these players, and that would have been a very different fight if they had Game Hunter.
Well, it would have been a different fight if Twig didn't have the reaction time to realize he was about to die and use the assassination onto Lobster, because otherwise Lobster would have come into that fight and just wreaked havoc on that one. I expected that more than anything, but did find the kill, so that made it turn around. 10-7 right now, 24.5 minutes in the game. Couple of towers down now for SK Gaming. That mid one on tier 1 for SK Gaming is on last legs as well. However, all towers still standing for TSM. TSM looking good.
Cactus Ward on the ground. Cactus are just covering the area. You've been to the desert, you understand. Fire Giant is standing up here. He is available. The Gold Fury is also available pretty shortly here in just about 2.5, 3 minutes or so. Going to be coming up shortly. So, you know, they're looking to pick that up. 7,000 gold between the two teams is a pretty big lead, even though there's only 3 kills between the two. Looking at atomization here, you see a lot of penetration from Game Hunter after his early start of CDR and protection. We see Lobster going for Book a little bit late here, but I love the fact that he got breastplate. It just had to happen.
Yeah, he went breastplate first item as well. Like, he wasn't even worried about the fact he was facing a Zhong Kui, who is a magical damage. He went breastplate first item driver, which shows that he was quite comfortable in that lane matchup. He knew what he was doing, and to be honest, Game Hunter could make a really big impact on this game now. Every time he seems to rotate in, he's picking up kills, picking up assists, and helping out his team.
All right, the Urchin is picked up by Cubo Fred, the very standard Thor build of Warrior Tabi, Jotuns into Height of the Urchin, and then whatever you feel like picking up. Trickstank has finished off Tier 1 of the Talisman here. Looks like he's going to go for either Bulwark or the Pestilence, although I don't imagine he would want to go for Pestilence. I mean, really, he's just preventing the lifesteal from the characters, and of course, a small amount of healing from the Zhong Kui. So I imagine he would go for a Breastplate, or I'm sorry, the Bulwark here, just get extra magic protection, because you know, he's getting a decent amount, but here's the hard part, right? Because physical protection is really all that's needed from TSM as long as they avoid Zhong Kui, because you've got Loki, Apollo, and Nemesis in the same team. They're the main sources of damage.
That's right. I mean, this is one of the issues that SK Gaming are going to have, and I felt like this on paper as well, was if they get behind, which they are now in this game, it's going to be a big ask for them to try and team fight against the likes of TSM. They've got to keep trying to find picks to get themselves back into this now and start closing this deficit down. As we can see a pick attempt on the left-hand side from Captain Twig going aggressive on Smek. The decoy is going to slow him down for a second, but Sprint and Bead is enough to get away. And now the rotation comes out as the return from the Neethel and the dunk from Thor. Double tap with the hammer. Fred makes him pay.
Captain Twig getting very aggressive there, but honestly, if that was anyone but TSM performing perfectly, he would have gotten away, or even going into the jungle, but he made a smart choice there. Hammer in the mid lane to find Rails. Berserker Barrage coming out a little bit early, actually didn't get the double tap. Hob was in the area though, good hit from the water cannon, forcing Badger back. It looks like that's going to be it. This tower is very weak.
Yeah, it is very weak. On the right side, you can see Game Hunter just going aggressive on Maniac here. He's just fighting him constantly, and he's forcing the ultimate out of Maniac. Maniac's going in for a trade here now. As mid lane, there's still a fight breaking out. As Lobster gets the crushing wave off, and Reels is in a lot of trouble. Badger's in a lot of trouble, rather, trying to run away. And it looks like Zeros could get caught out of position here. He's going to drop.
Forcing away, Hammer's gonna hit. Berserk Barrage is there. Hammer, there's the stun coming out. Goldfish about to respond. Fire Giant's up. They're heading right for it. It's a beeline from TSM. They got a near deicide. Athena's the only one remaining, and look at this. Got a tier 3 Hand of the Gods, but can she even get there in time?
Ridiculous. Game Hunter just got a snipe off onto Maniac on that fight at the end of that fight as well. So picking up a solo kill for himself, and this is going to be a free Fire Giant here, Drybear. There's no coming back for that one. No one's going to be in the area from SK Gaming to do anything about this, and TSM looking good for the finals right now.
Yep, they're just under 10,000 gold ahead. SK is looking like they're having a lot of trouble dealing with TSM right now. 14 to 7, 28 minutes into this match. The Fire Giant is now down, and this means that SK really can't contest TSM in open field. They have to fight under something. It has to be a tower, and more realistically, given the gap and the Fire Giant, it has to be a Phoenix. They can't really fight under a tier 2 tower here, and so that means that TSM can just start grouping up and pushing, and if SK wants to contest a tower, they have to have a really great initiation behind it.
But then when you say when they want for an initiation, who's going to initiate? I mean, you've got a taunt from Badger, or you've got Maniac running in using Recall Demons. That's the only engage they've really got. Other than that, you can't really expect the likes of Nemesis or Loki to be the initiators, because they'll disappear in seconds. This is the biggest problem with this team composition. Quick pause coming out, guys. It won't be too long. But like we said, Drybear, this is the problem with this team comp.
Yeah, and you see Captain Twig going for a shifter shield now, so he's going to start building up a little bit of defense, which really, his team just needs him to have burst. He just needs to erase Hobwa, erase Thor, erase Neith from the fight, but he never really gets the opportunity. I mean, you're exactly right. They don't really have the amount of initiation that they would want, and you're looking at this now, and you see, Nemesis, you see Reels. It looks like Nemesis is actually going to go for the Unsele as well, this late into the game, which has a lot of stacks on him, so we're going to start stacking that up. Now, it's a great item to have, especially up against the likes of Ra and Habwa, but at the same time, now Nemesis, after going into Hide of the Urchin, is going to another half damage, half output item here with Ansile, and it's going to be tough to swing. And you look at top, Maniac has that Divine Ruin against Ra, which is limiting his damage output as well. And there's a lot of utility on the side of SK, but they don't have a good initiation, and there's a lot more damage on the side of TSM, and that's really what's helping them out the most.
But look at this as well. If you look at their item builds right now, you can see Game Hunter, we discussed Breastplate of Valor. On that, you've got Lobster, Breastplate of Valor, Cuva Fred, Hide of the Urchin, giving him physical protection as well, and those stacking effects. And then you've got Trix Tank giving 20 physical protection to everyone around him, and if they group up like this, they're going to get exploded. Maniac's going low.
Thor ultimate in the ground there. Maniac goes down, looking to try and smack in the backside. The shield from Gab keeps him alive. Trix Tank with the play. Crushing wave comes through. Captain Twig and Badger just barely come out, but the searing pain puts him in the grave, and Captain Twig has nothing to do but go back into the base. Zeros has gone down all by his lonesome. Apollo has dunked back on the ground himself. Do we have a water spout? We got the water spout over the wall. Lobster with the double kill. TSM is eradicating SK Gaming left and right. They have no leg to stand on, and soon the Titan won't either. Catch it going in, but he will just be cannon fodder to the machine that is TSM. The Titan will fall. They'll take this match in 30 minutes flat, 71-8 to 58-4. 13,000 gold in the lead. What a fantastic play by TSM. I think it's safe to say that TSM's back.
I'm glad to see them back as well. I mean, TSM, they won the launch tournament and they've been on a slippery slope, Drybear. They've been on a very, very slippery slope, but right now is coming back and they seem to be on form. They seem to bring it together there. Kiva Fred had a big time there and big news coming out. This could be this week's winners, Drybear, because Exposed Secrets have reached the final this week, beating I5.
A huge upset. I mean, obviously, Exposed Secrets went through Cloud9. It was an easy lineup for them, but they went through Optimum Esports, 8th or 9th seed. They went through Cloud9, 1st seed. They went up to 5th seed with I5. But after beating Cloud9, they got to feel really great. And now they're gonna be pushing up into the grand finals, and so it's gonna be TSM versus Exposed Secrets in the grand finals. What a matchup it is! But let's look at Thor on this last game and see how well Cuvo plays. There's the hammer. Actually, there's a stun. The hammer's gonna come out shortly here. Jungler goes forward, but watch what Maniac does. He kind of puts a left swing and then goes around and gets completely taken out by the damage output. And you can see he's kind of floating like a butterfly. Teleport ball gonna find Loki with a stun, forcing it out, and again, disengaging. This is what you do as a jungler assassin. You want to go in and go out, go in and go out. The dunk cover above, gonna find actually Zero's here, forcing him away. He dodges the hammer, which means he runs into the wall and is forced out of the fight. Here's another stun from Cubo Fred. He's just dodging everything. That's so beautiful, doesn't hit him either. He's inside the raw heal at the very edge. Cubo, which played that so smartly.
He did.
That they really couldn't keep up with him.
All game long, Cuvo makes some great calls for his team and showed the power of his Thor in the jungle. And honestly, Cuvo's tier used to be something to be feared, Drybear. I mean, he used to play tier consistently in the jungle, was constantly banned away from him. Now he's turned his attention to Thor, and the rise of Thor has really played into the same strengths that tier gave Cuvo Fred in the jungle. And he looks like he's back. The whole of TSM looked back. 5-0-5 on Game Hunter. Player damage was so equal across the team. I mean, you've got Lobster, 19,000 damage, Game Hunter, 18,400 damage, and Smek, 17,000 damage. So they're all relatively even in terms of sharing the player workload in the team.
Yeah, they really have been playing very well, and honestly, it's like I said, it's safe to say TSM is back. That was a very dominant performance. Going up against a team like SK, who have been really kind of rising through the ranks. Last week, they were able to finish first place and really kind of come out strong and show themselves. And C9, who had a little bit of a struggle against SK, got completely eliminated. Exposed Secrets, and here's the thing, right? When you look at Exposed Secrets, you're thinking, why haven't they been performing the way you expect? I mean, they have so many strong players. They got Frostiak, they have Zalia, they have Shadow Nightmare, Dazer.
Well.
I mean, They got so many good players, but they haven't come out strong. But they're going to prove themselves today by making it to the grand finals. It seems like the 4th through 8th slots have been so competitive so far in EU, and I'm excited to see how this finals go. TSM versus Exposed Series coming up next. We're going to cut to a brief break. We're going to start game 1 of a best of 3 to see who makes out first this week. Stick around. We'll be right back.